Hey there, Ethan here again with Edge of NFT from Davos. We've got a impromptu interview like you can have here at Davos, just with some of the coolest people in the world. And today we're bringing you a Grammy Award-winning producer, Dre, and he's going to give a little bit more intro of himself, what he's been up to for the past couple decades, establishing a really wonderful reputation, and just letting us have some context about him. So go ahead.
Well, you know, my name is Dre of Cool Dre, 3-time Grammy Award-winning producers from Miami, Florida. You may have heard of us from records like All the Way Up for Fat Joe, Hate It or Love It for 50 Cent in the Game, Rodeo for Juvenile. Too many hits to get into. I landed early this morning into Davos. It was a last-minute thing, but I'm really excited about it because you know, being in the music industry for over 20 years and seeing the way that the business of NFTs are moving in contrast to what I'm used to, it's just an exciting time. So, you know, I'm really excited to be here in Davos, really excited to meet people and speak more about NFTs. Cool and I, we have a record dropping with Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes, two good friends of ours. And it's an amazing song, so you guys look out for it. It's on Greed Music, and we're excited to get things going, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be speaking with you, and you know, we got to know each other a little bit in the past maybe 20 minutes. Music is so close to my heart. I've been a pianist and played jazz, all sorts of styles throughout the years. You mentioned this briefly, but let's dive in a little bit deeper. You get a call from someone, you could say who it is, like, hey man, you got to hightail it over to Davos. You know, I want to hear about that story. You know, what made you go like, nah, man, I got stuff to do here, right? Yeah, tell me about this kind of impromptu trip to Davos and what you expect to get out of this.
Man, well, my buddy Dustin hit me up and told me about all the things going on here at the World Economic Forum, and it's crazy because you know I'm familiar with this event. But he was just explaining to me that this year was going to be a little bit different. Going to do a lot of cryptocurrency, metaverse, NFT things. And, you know, Cool and I, we always try to be at the forefront of anything new, especially in technology. And we try to find a way, how can we bring that and merge that with what we're doing on the music side. And, you know, the past couple of months, you know, just I've been meeting a lot of people, especially through my friend Dustin, you know, in this space, and the business moves so much quicker. You know, deals happen at a meeting, you know what I mean? And in my industry, it doesn't work that way. You know, unfortunately, it still ran on 50-year-old rules, and producer like myself, you know, to be as acclaimed as me and Cool are, we still have issues with producer fees, which is like, it should be the smallest thing. We all know about royalties and publishing and things like that. But when there's issue with producer fees, it makes you really, really look at the NFT space and the metaverse space as like the new frontier to do everything. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's live shows, whether it's releasing music, whether it's signing artists and putting out their music through that, creating a record company in the metaverse, you know what I'm saying? Using smart contracts. So, you know, was really excited to come out here, you know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to everything that Davos has to offer, and I'm pretty sure when I leave out of here, I'm going to be walking away with 100 billion.
Excellent. Yeah, and it's so fascinating. Of course, to me, being in NFTs also, you know, very briefly, I mean, when you think of the grand scheme of things, March of 2021 was when we started our podcast. Of course, I had been, you know, aware of and watching the crypto space ever since its inception. But to hear somebody say, NFTs are important to me, and so I'm going to Davos, is just a fascinating thing that's just ramped up over this, you know, past maybe 18 months, right? So I would love to hear from you. What's been your experience in hearing about NFTs and crypto probably percolating into how that applies to the music industry? Like, where did this first come up? You know, what's been your journey in approaching it and getting to the point now where you're getting pretty deeply involved?
Yeah, well, I got a lot of friends at my studio, we sign a lot of creatives. They're all young, 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kids. And they're into things like Top Shot cards. Like, you know what I'm saying? And those are the NFT things that they go crazy for. And when I started looking at it, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, these are highlights that you guys are, trading and whatnot. Another thing that I really thought was amazing about NFTs was that the creators kept a percentage of whatever they created as the NFT changed hands. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was really, really cool, and it empowers the creative. So as far as the music side is concerned, this generation of artists, they're coming up with an independent mind. You know what I'm saying? Because of streaming, because of, TuneCore, SoundCloud, they're not going through the traditional ways to release their music. They're just putting it up, uploading it themselves. And that's amazing, and that's fantastic. I think that NFTs and the metaverse is the next step after that, because the music industry's already jumped on that wave. They're already snatching up these kids once they reach a certain amount of followers on social media and things like that. And, another thing about the metaverse that I've been thinking about is just that during the pandemic and we were all locked down, a lot of artists suffered because they weren't able to go out and perform. I'm a music producer and a songwriter, so I don't really need to go outside to create. I'm fortunate enough to have a studio and have a studio at my house, so I could create and just send emails out, and get things done.
It's kind of like a privilege to have to stay at home and to just be there.
Yeah, we're homebodies anyway. And if you're a songwriter or a producer, you're used to being inside either the studio or your home studio for 18 hours a day, right? But the artists really suffered because they couldn't go perform. So a friend put me on to the metaverse, and a lot of my friends at the studio, they're young. They got the goggles on. They're doing all kind of things. And I'm just like, yo, man, it'd be crazy if I could see my favorite artist just perform and I throw the goggles on. And I started thinking about the impact that would have on legacy artists. We were just joking about Kool and the Gang earlier. Well, a lot of Kool and the Gang's fan base, they might not be able to leave their house. They might not be able to move around like that. Maybe a lot of the venues are not accommodating a band like Kool and the Gang. They don't appreciate, certain legends. But in the metaverse, Kool and the Gang can set up their own show, their own concert, and reach all their fans all over the world at one time. And God forbid we have another pandemic and we all get locked down again. I want to make sure that Cool and Dre, we're already in the space, we're at the forefront. That way we could be some of the creators that provide, a new way for you to enjoy your favorite artists, listen to your favorite music and things of that nature.
Yeah, it's really great to be able to sit down here with you and have this chat and see, how things are percolating within the music industry. We've seen a lot of cool stuff when we talk about legacy artists and how they can get involved. One of our first interviews on Edge of NFT was a One Of project, which had Quincy Jones backing it, and that was just like, all right, Quincy, man, you are just nailing it, like forever, right? And so there's so much more opportunities to be built here, and I love that you highlighted that. So we'll wrap up here pretty soon, but I want to get from you a little bit about this musical release that's coming out. And there'll be NFT attached to it, or yes, yeah, that's exciting. So this is kind of going to be your first foray, and you just said, oh well, maybe let's do this Busta Rhymes, right? Yeah. So that's really cool. But just tell us about making that decision and pulling that together, and I know the timelines can be a little loose on it, but if you can give people a general sense of how to get involved, that'd be great to hear.
Awesome. So we have a record coming. It's Cool and Dre featuring Busta Rhymes and Fat Joe. It's an NFT. What's really cool about the NFT is that there are like 100 different versions of the actual song. So it's the actual record, and then there's a version of just Fat Joe a cappella. and then there's a version of Busta's a cappella. Then there's a version of the instrumental. Then there's an instrumental with just Fat Joe. Then there's outtakes of where Joe's messing up his verse. Like, yo, pull that shit back. I fucked that line up. Like, so there's so many different versions of the song that's being NFT'd. You know what I mean? So I think just that alone is different than what we're used to having.
Yeah, I love that, and I think about how you could NFT every different track, and then people can take those and they could remix them, right? And each one of them could have their own royalty stream. Yes. Really incredible stuff. I'm getting the signal we got to cut very soon, but tell people where they can find out more about this. Participated in the drop, and any follows that they should go to, social stuff like that.
Make sure you follow us at Cool and Dre on Instagram. That's at COOLANDDRE. Make sure you follow me at DreDay3000 on Instagram. I have my friend make up I didn't want to do it, and he just made up the name, but it's at DREDAY3000. Go to coolanddre.com and, look out for all the things that we have going on. Super exciting times. Get involved, man. Now's the time.
Beautiful. And I'll be playing keys on your next record, right?
Right.